Well, this is fun, isn't it? While there was a period of kind of niceties when this brand new wrestling war started, we are not in Kansas anymore, Toto, and the guns are out and we've got a bunch of bullets and we're about to fire them to the other side. I'm not sure why anybody wouldn't want this, because we can see with our own two eyes that every single show just keeps getting better and better and better, which means we, the people who are watching this stuff, are winning. And do you not like winning? If not, what's wrong with you? It has now gotten to the point though where we have certain WWE guys talking about certain AEW guys, or in this instance, Roman Reigns running down CM Punk. Why? Here's why. Now let's not pretend otherwise. There is a huge chance, and I'm talking like 99.999999%, that this is just Roman Reigns in character. He knows exactly what he's doing. He realizes that nerds like me will talk about it and it will create somewhat of a storm. And here I am, a nerd like me, and I am talking about it. I mean, he is probably laughing from his house right now while he massages some kind of table, because he's obsessed with those things. I don't know why you'd have to ask him. But while talking to Complex Sports, our tribal chief did indeed say, and I shall read it for you, a match with Punk is not going to elevate me at all. He's older now. I haven't really seen a full match. I've seen a clip or two, and to me, a step or two has been lost. Then he also got his ass whooped in the UFC. I don't think anybody really believes somebody 200 pounds soaking wet with no explosive bone in their body could ever really do anything to me. Once again, pull the trigger. Now, a couple of things from my perspective. One, I don't think anybody could actually say that CM Punk has lost a step or two, especially because he took 7 years away from professional wrestling and he's come back and he's had, 4, 5, 6 matches? And every single one of them has been pretty damn good. And he's likely to get better and better too. You know how life works. You have to find your groove. And when he does find his groove after 6 months to a year, I imagine we'll be going, oh, that's CM Punk. He damn good at this sports entertainment malarkey. The comment about the UFC though, that is just fanning the flames. Now for starters, you can find a 200-pound guy that could absolutely wreck Roman Reigns. And that's nothing against Roman Reigns, but if you are an individual who has studied in mixed martial arts and you know what you're doing, you can take anybody down, no matter how much they weigh, if they don't have a clue. And when it comes to Punk in the UFC, I really do think you have to give him a little bit of respect, because you can choose to be one of two people. One, you can be the 90-year-old guy that's like, oh my gosh, I love MMA and UFC, I'm so upset, I regret never doing it. Or two, you can be the 90-year-old that goes, oh my gosh, well, it didn't quite go to plan, but I'm so happy I did that UFC and MMA stuff. I know which one I'd rather be, and it's the latter. You don't want regrets, and life is all about experiences. And if we look at CM Punk, he has just smashed all his dreams. He did wrestling, he's done movies, he's done comics, and yes, he's done mixed martial arts. I'm sorry, there are no insults to throw. Don't come back at me and go, well, he could do it when he's 90. There is no MMA fighting league. I bet in 50, 60 years, there probably will be, because all combat sports are going nuts. But right now, it ain't on the table. Oh, it's me, Roman Reigns. The thing is, yes, once again, are you really convinced this isn't Roman being the tribal chief? He saw a way to make the internet explode, and he did it, and once again, yes, it totally exploded. And if CM Punk wants to retaliate, he should retaliate as well, because professional wrestling is at its best when the wool is being pulled over your eyes, whether that's in the wrestling ring or whether it's outside in reality. So now if I want, I can go, Roman Reigns hates CM Punk. Oh, what's going to happen? I mean, nothing, because, one's in WWE and AEW, but it makes it feel more legit. And that's all I want. I don't think the Punk would have appreciated this either. Don't get me wrong, it's still an absolute dick thing to say, but it gets more confusing when we go into what he said about the fans. But Mr. Reigns went on and he did then say, I think because AEW are the new kids on the block, they're the cool kids in town, I guess, because of how premature and novel this thing still is. I think they're still being babied by these hardcore wrestling fans, which is fine, that's great. I don't think anybody's going to ever, especially from a performance standpoint, say, oh no, there's more opportunities out there. That sucks. So it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing for pro wrestling. It's just a weird argument because there's so much bias and there's so much I'm on this side and I'm not going to open my mind to the other side, and it goes both ways. So it's very different when you do hear that entire quote. And what I mean by that is there are some people out there only giving you the soundbite like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did it. Mr. Reigns was being level-headed, to say the least. apart from that bit about babying the promotion. Now, what I assume he means by this is that because AEW is brand new, we are treating it like a shiny new toy. It's like when you get an iPhone, you'll be like, oh my gosh, it's like my child, nobody come near it, and in a week you're just hurling it across your bedroom because once again the gimmick and the novelty has worn off. The thing is, this isn't a piece of technology, this is wrestling, and if fans are making constant noise, well, that just means you're doing something right. The only reason crowds are so lit for All Elite Wrestling is because they're loving what they're seeing and they feel engaged and passionate about the brand. I don't care what world you come from. I don't care what stance you want to take. Never can you paint that as negative. You're also kind of saying by proxy that at your shows, your fans aren't as engaged, and that is something you don't want at all. Honestly, if you're going to start any kind of wrestling promotion, you want to be able to like roll a goat out to the ring, and people care so much about that goat, they're like, oh my gosh, it's a goat, and they want to feed it grass or whatever the hell a goat eats. That's what you should be going for, not people that go, what, all the time, and you're like, would you shut up? And look, it does happen at WWE events too, I'm not saying that. Go back to that recent SmackDown, we had the contract signing between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and it felt like two super duper stars going at it. But then also on other shows, you get people doing this. And when that happens, the powers that be should be able to see it, they should listen to their audience, and they should make changes. As we are talking about Roman Reigns, that was a huge problem from 2015 to 2019 because we ignored everything and we went down the route of suffering succotash and we had that Royal Rumble, which ended with us booing The Rock. That's how wound up we were. We were like, we don't care, Dwayne Johnson is here, Roman Reigns, boo. And have a guess what worked? Tapping into who Roman was and allowing him to react to the fans as they were reacting to him. And now I would say he's a bigger deal than he ever has been, and absolutely the biggest deal within World Wrestling Entertainment. I think the biggest takeaway should be, though, that we the fans just take this in good fun. Sure, it makes a bunch of good headlines that you can go, tee, I can't believe it, but it also kind of allows you to tie in pro wrestling with actual sports. I mean, how good is it when an opposition manager takes a shot at another manager that they've just played against? It just sort of lights the fires and it gives you an extra bit of drama. And once again, that's all wrestling is. It's storylines, getting thrown around a ring, and drama. In fact, if anything, the fact that WWE was the only game in town for so long is something that was a detriment to this industry, because then you can rest on your laurels. Because there's nobody knocking on the door saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to shake things up. You can do whatever the hell you want. Again, go back to that Roman Reigns thing we just talked about. Whereas now, they are pulling things out their ass, and long may it continue. So you've got to raise your game, and just to come full circle with this, that means improved wrestling around the board. And everyone keeps going, oh, it's the late 90s over again, WWF versus WCW, but it's really not. Then you did kind of have to choose, or you had to get a VHS tape and hope it recorded properly, and sometimes it never did because that was a crappy piece of technology. You can watch whatever the hell you want on demand. If Friday or Saturday, whatever day it is, you want to watch AEW Rampage and SmackDown, you can do it, and you can do it at your own leisure. And sure, if you feel more passionate about one brand than the other, you can choose to watch that one live, but you don't have to. It's completely up to you. You can just dive headfirst into wrestling. But when we are talking about the demos, leave that to Vince McMahon and leave that to Tony Khan. These are smart dudes. They know what they're doing. Follow your heart and follow your passion, and gloriousness will be your result. Doesn't mean you can't have your favorites and decide to support one over the other, but don't cut your nose off to spite your face. If you know there's something good going on and you want to check it out, just go and check it out and bend your back like this. I mean, don't, it's not good for me at all. I don't know what I'm doing. Basically, what I'm saying is pick wrestling, because this won't be the first time it happens, and it absolutely won't be the last, but there's no need to lose your rocker over it. It's all in good fun. Like, if you break it right down, as Roman Reigns kind of said, do you think there's any wrestler out there that won't be looking at this brand new landscape and thinking, wow, man, I have all these crazy pathways I can now take? Of course they're not. That is the whole spirit of this thing we call life. So essentially, I love competition. That's what this whole video was about, and let's keep doing it. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think about all this. Maybe you got really mad at Roman Reigns. Really, there was no need to do it, but I'd love to know. Also, head over to whatculture.com where you can stay up to date with all the wrestling news. Make sure you come say hello on social media, and we got a bunch of videos on the channel. Go watch them all. My name is Simon What Culture. Thank you for joining me as always, and I'll see you the next time Roman Reigns says something. Not true, I'll see you before then, but he probably will.